Hello, hi, am I bright enough? I can't tell. I haven't a clue, this is so wonky as well. This update is going to be very all over the show. I am having a bit of a day today. My brain is not braining, feel a bit down. I'm still very excited to share this with you, but I'm just feeling down today. I'm on a bit of a dip. I also just had to stop recording because the shopping had arrived, the dogs were in the garden, and then when I went down there to go and put them inside, I realised that Nellie had ripped a hole in the shed and she was coming out of the shed in this tiny hole, but like she'd ripped a panel off the shed. Anyway, that's how today's going. So when I last did a video, I'm pretty sure I left it as, pretty sure this behind me was, I can't. My dad's just come to the window of the front door and poked his head up and gone, ooh. Oh, I want to cry. That's how like dippy my head is. I'm just so overwhelmed. But I want to film this update because I don't want to cry. I don't want to cry. I'm just emotional. Jeez. I want to show you what we've done. But I just feel like everything is stopping me and making it harder. Anyway, I'm pretty sure when I left the last video I had no walls at all. They were empty, they weren't even like insulated, they were just bare walls. The ceiling was done, the floor was done, we just had nothing else, and that was it. There was no electric, there was no nothing. As you can see, there are now walls. We have walls in here. I spent a few days just doing all the installation and cutting the sheets to size for the little squares of the wall. Obviously before we put the wall on, we did have the electrician come over and he asked me where I wanted everything, which was really hard to figure out because I then had to, in the space of a day, figure out obviously the whole like kitchen setup and where I wanted all the plugs to be to make sure I had enough. And then when I was done with that, we had my cousin come over again and he helped cut all of the boards and get them all sized up and stuff. But once that was done and those were all in, we could obviously then put the boards up and cut all of the socket holes out. It was a little bit more confusing when it came to the two end pieces because they obviously have the arch. What my cousin did was make a template for the arch and then he could cut all of the different panels. Panels, I am so glad we went with those. I think I said it in the last video, I can't remember, but I'll say it again. We went for these MDF pieces, so they are basically look-alike wood panelling. So they have the panelling look that I really liked, but I didn't have to put them on one by one. They're just sheets and they slot into each other and it's so much quicker to put up walls that way. These ones are primed as well, which is why they're white, so they have like a primer on them, so when everything's done pretty much with like filling in holes and stuff, I can just paint it. I'll put a clip in now of just like a span of the whole room because you can see how some bits had to be like cut specifically to windows and we had to have bits cut out of the middle for the sockets. I think the hardest part for me has been trying to figure out where all the sockets were going to go. I ended up going with a couple of ground level sockets and above those there's going to be two like wall fixture lights. I didn't want any lights in the ceiling. I didn't think it was necessary. It would have been more of a faff than it's worth because obviously the ceiling is curved, couldn't think of the word. And obviously I've got the skylight, so I don't need a ton of light at this end anyway. So I went for two wall fixture lights in the middle of the room and then there's one above the doorway and that's also linked to the outside one as well. My earrings just popped out and that's really gonna annoy me. So there's gonna be an outside light as well. There's still two sockets that are hidden behind some of the panelling over in the bed area because I need to figure out how high I want my bed and then how high I want those sockets. So we put the wiring in behind the walls, we just not cut the holes yet. I've just made marks as to where the wires are. So at some point I need to design my entire bed and storage system, and then when we get to building that I can then measure how high up I want the little sideboard bit and then how high up I want the plug sockets. But those are the only two sockets that aren't poking through yet. The rest of them, we managed to get them in pretty much. They obviously don't have any faces on them yet. and they're all in the right place, and that went smoothly. It isn't connected to any electric just yet. My dad has been kind of in charge of figuring out where the electric needs to go and what we need for the hut. There is now a cable going from the main house and it goes through the garden, and it will pop up at this end. It isn't connected yet though, so that's all just kind of the next step. We're waiting for that to happen still. So there's no electric, but there can be electric in here, so that's progress. I filled all of the ceiling holes and that was a process and a half. I have never used 2-part filler before. We used this stuff. This is what I used. It's a wood filler, it's white. It is a 2-part thing, so you have like the paste stuff and then you have this hardener stuff. And I have only ever used a 2-part thing once, and it was for making a silicone, I think it was silicone, mould for something for jewellery. And that was years ago. So I haven't used anything 2-part for that long, and it was a process. The tin says you have up to 20 minutes to carve or shape the filler before it hardens. 2 minutes. It took maybe 5. There's a high chance I got the ratio wrong, which is why it went quicker. But I did the pea in the golf ball. I did that. So I shouldn't have. But it was really hard to put it in the ceiling as it is, because it was like above my head. Didn't want it to blob on me, and I was working against gravity. So I was trying to fill these holes and this stuff was hardening like a bitch, so I was struggling. So I just ended up bunging it in, overfilling things, which I thought is not the end of the world. As long as the holes are filled, then I don't need to be too stressed about it, because I can always sand it down. That's what I did. I filled all the holes and then I spent a good couple of days sanding them down. And because of that process and because I overfilled them, it's meant that everything in here after I sanded is covered in white dust. So there is just white dust on everything. So I do need to get a hoover in here at some point, but I did it myself. I figured it out, I trialed and errored it. I know next time to be less generous. That's kind of where I got to, and then I had my birthday, so it all paused a little bit. I had a little garden party for my friends and family, and that was really lovely because I could have this unlocked and people would come and have a look. Obviously there's not much to see in here just yet, but it was nice to be able to show how we've progressed with it. It was a really, really lovely day. I really enjoyed my birthday. And then my actual birthday the following week. I spent a little time in here just kind of messing around because I got a present from my auntie. She sent me a chair that was big enough for the hut, or small enough for the hut, which I'll put some photos and video clips in now, but I figured I should try and take a photo of me sat on the chair in the hut to show her how well it suits the hut. Yeah, I just kind of had a bit of time up here and messed around and enjoyed my day. I didn't push myself to do too much in here, and there wasn't really much I could do because my jobs were to sand the little ceiling holes down. There's one corner that still needs to be panelled because that is where all the electricity goes into. We had to wait for my dad to do the cable from the house. Now the cable from the house is done, it's a case of waiting for the electrician to come and do all the joining up and the safety things and all that jazz. So once that's done, the panelling can be finished. Once the panelling's finished, I can then fill all the holes and neaten everything off, and then we can start doing trims, like window trims, and make things look neater with the shell of it. And then hopefully get some flooring in. That would be nice. There is a floor here and it's perfectly fine, like it holds weight and it's, you know, nice. It's not like a grotty old floor. It's a bit dusty right now, but you know, Hoover can fix that. But I really want my wood floor. I want it to look like a floor, you know? I think when it reaches that point, when there is the floor, the walls, the trims and all those things done, that's when I'm going to start getting really excited, because obviously the next step is like building my bed and moving in and just being able to exist up here pretty much. I also do have some steps. They had to kind of be made quite quickly because the electrician was coming around, and obviously we can't be like, leg up mate. We had to have some steps. So my dad and me kind of put those together the evening before he arrived. So we have some steps, they're very steep, but I'm not like trying to get in the hut like I'm getting on a horse or something. I don't know, I've never got on a horse before, but I imagine it's a lot of leg up situation. Anyway, yeah, that's where I'm at with the hut. Don't think I've missed anything. I did actually spend some time up here with a friend. She came over on Friday and we had a little pizza evening out to celebrate both of our 30ths, because she turned 30 a few days before me. But afterwards we came back here and I had some Pokemon cards to open and we had tarot cards as well. I told her it was really dusty up here still and she was like, it's fine, I've got a picnic blanket, we can just sit on that and then do tarot and stuff. And it was really nice because it was pitch black, so I brought up like this hanging light thing that I had, and obviously we had the skylight and stuff open and we were just sat here doing tarot and opening Pokemon cards and absolutely pissing ourselves laughing. So it was a lot of fun and it was nice to just have a space away from the house where we weren't going to get distracted or didn't need to worry about how loud we were being or things like that. It was just so nice. And we were talking about how like having movie nights up here and how I eventually would love to have some sort of projector or something so I can do movie nights inside or outside. There was just lots of like ideas we were talking about and getting excited about. So yeah, that was really, really nice. The last couple of days I've really wanted to do art. Like, it's been itching in me to do art. Like, I just want to sit down and do art and I just can't. I know there's a lot of things out there that say, you know, you can do art anywhere and da 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 da, but my brain works different. I need the surroundings to feel comfortable and right for me to be able to do art properly and not have all of everything going on in my head, and it just felt like everything around me was a bit too chaotic to sit down and do art. But I've been having lots of ideas and things I want to try and get out here and onto paper. I think once the space is a little less dusty and a little less building sitey, I'm going to end up bringing some sort of old table and chair in here so I can just come up here with my paints and paint. Yeah, I honestly can't wait to do art again. I've missed making stuff and designing things and having new stuff to launch and the excitement of like those sort of deadlines and being able to share them with you after I've been squirreling away at them for months. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that, but I'm just very much like in a bit of a limbo right now still, and I hate being in limbo. It is one of my biggest things that throws me off the ball. So yeah, definitely a bit of a waiting game at the moment with the electrician and getting the last panels up, but we're still progressing. It's just a little, slow down a little bit. I'm gonna go and try and do things with my day. I don't know how today's gonna go, but at least I've filmed an update, so I could just sit in bed and edit if I really wanted to, but it's sunny outside and I want to go in the sun. But I also forgot to put sun cream on my face today and I've got makeup on. I don't know. Decisions, I'll figure it out. I'm gonna stop rambling. If you do have any questions, let me know. I have been trying to answer as many as I can in as much detail as I can about the hut. I know not everyone's building a hut and it's not really something that people can relate to, but yeah, I'm happy to answer what I can. This isn't like a gatekeepy thing. I'm happy to be transparent about stuff. Hope you all have a lovely day and I will see you in my next video. Bye.